Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the NASL Grand Finals. This is the final series. It's a best of 7, and we have 2 of the most fantastic players in all the world. Let me first introduce the first competitor. He's from Team Liquid. He is HerO. And his opponent for today, he was the Open winner in Season 1, battled through, and was the NASL Season 1 champion. He's again at the finals for Season 2. Give it up for EG's Puma! All right, gentlemen, this is actually a rematch of the DreamHack Finals. First, I want to ask you, Puma, what are your thoughts right now on this series?
지금 이제 결승인데요, 드디어. 드림핵처럼 이제 한데 이제 소감을.
제가 드림을 한지 얼마 안 된 것 같은데 이렇게 또 현덕 형이랑 다른 NASL에서 결승해서 만났는데 제가 아직 상처가 치유되지 않았기 때문에 이번에는 꼭 이겨서 상처를 치료해야 될 것 같아요.
It still hurts here, right here, where from losing DreamHack, and after winning the NASL, I think it will heal up.
All right. And HerO, you defeated Puma in the DreamHack Finals. Are we going to see a repeat of that? I mean, do you really feel like he has a chance in this series?
드림핵의 결승전처럼 한 번 더 이기실 건가요?
이호준 선수 잘하는 선수지만 111만 막으면 이기기 때문에 네, 쉽게 이길 수 있을 것 같습니다.
I'm actually pretty confident, even though he's a very good player. As long as it doesn't go in a long macro game, I'm pretty confident I can beat him anytime.
All right, so big words. Well, that being said, give me predictions really quick. What's going to be the scores for this series?
이번 결승전의 점수 예상.
아마 제 마음속으로는 쉽게 이기고 싶지만 아마 박빙의 승부가 되지 않을까 예상해 봅니다.
I gotta say I want to beat him really fast. I mean, I could wish for a 4-0, but I mean, it's gonna be a really close match.
All right, and the same for you, HerO?
네, 4대3 정도 이렇게 마지막 경기까지 가지 않을까 생각하고 있어요.
I'm guessing 4-3 again, like DreamHack.
All right, well, gentlemen, good luck. Please go to your booths. Go ahead. And ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just about to get started. I'm gonna go ahead, like all the photos, unzip my fly, and I'm ready. Casters, go at it, man.
I am so excited. I am so very excited, Day 9. I'm DJ Wheats.
And I am Day 9, and together we have, what is it, Marcus?
Popcorn power.
Ladies and
Yeah.
gentlemen, it's time for the
Cheers.
most epic best of 7 finals between Liquid HerO and EG's Puma. Now, the important thing to note is that these two have an absurd rivalry in every
Yes.
series they've ever faced. Whoever wins has only won by a single game.
You're absolutely right. In fact, I want to jump right into some of these stats, but we should just talk about the buzz of this particular tournament. Seeing that both Liquid HerO and EG Puma were on opposite sides of the bracket, it did not take long for people to start processing this information and going, we could see a rematch from DreamHack.
I mean, it's like the two star-crossed lovers, and they're working their way towards each other from different airports, and they just wind up in the same connecting terminal. You just can't quite believe it's going to happen. But the best part is, in movies, that's make-believe. This is real life, Marcus.
This is real life. That's absolutely right.
Couldn't ask for a better event. I mean, what's so incredible to me is that Puma is so on fire in all the foreigner tournaments, continues to tear it up, almost opting to play less of the Korean focused tournaments like the GSL, instead coming again and again and again to all these foreign events and just tearing it apart. And then HerO, who you know was added to Team Liquid, known to be a pretty strong Protoss, but wasn't your top tier player until recently. He too now has become the Korean player who's tearing up the foreigner tournaments. And this now will really seal the deal of who deserves the title between the two of them.
I absolutely agree. And you know, before we actually break down some of the specific stats involving both of these players, we want to take a quick look at the actual brackets and see exactly how they made it here. Because with 16 players in the playing field, of course, none of them was a walkover, as we had upsets in the round of 16. We had some great games in the round of 8. Of course, the semifinals played yesterday, equally as exciting. And then now the finals, HerO versus Puma. We saw HerO take out Hwanson in a PvP. Then he had another PvP versus Hasuabs. And then a really confident and quite amazing game versus Sen. I was really impressed in those games.
I mean, it's interesting to contrast the path of HerO, who you see literally all the way at the top of the bracket, pretty much dominating in every single series, 3-1, 3-0, 4-0. Puma, on the other hand, has had a lot of back and forth series. I mean, even his first series against Chef, you see way down at the bottom, narrowly came out with a win in that series.
All 5 games that went into 2-0 or 2-2. And then finally, it was Puma who was able to pull out with that final game. And then, of course, he had the fairly, I would not necessarily say easy, but it was a short 3-0 series versus Idra. And then versus Thorzane, I really enjoyed those matches. You don't often hear me say that type of thing, Day 9, when it comes to TVTs, but it was a very meticulous and entertaining TVT to watch, just because both players contain so much talent and skill. And now we have it, HerO versus Puma, part 2, but really, that's just not the case. It is technically part 2 because they met at DreamHack just a weekend ago. But these two have faced each other a few times. It's actually Puma who has the winning record. So let's break it down just a little bit. Liquid HerO, his versus Terran is a 57%. He's played 33 games. Or he's won 33 games and lost 24. His last 10 have been a straight up 50% win-loss ratio.
Really? Now that actually really surprises me about HerO, because he's known for that incredible stalker control. If you open with any kind of tech lab opening, there's the threat of the Marauder, gotta back off. Puma really doesn't do that many Marauder openings. He does the 1-1-1, he does the early expand, he does some very cute tech play openings. And what that means is that first Stalker can get an absurd amount of kills, and I think of all players, HerO is able to do the best job with that starting Stalker.
Another really interesting stat is that of the last 18 games that Liquid HerO has played, they have been either against Puma or against MVP. And in my book, that's some pretty damn good versus Terran practice right there.
That's undoubtedly. I mean, those
kind of crazy, huh?
The one thing I think that is so important to note, though, is that we haven't really seen these players play this matchup in this tournament. I think that's accurate, that HerO has only faced Protosses and Zergs. We've seen Puma only face Terrans and Zergs on his road to the final. Now they're going to play that new matchup, and I'm very excited to see what Puma is going to have in store, because he has been coming up with some crazy mech styles.
He has, and before we launch into this game, EG Puma, his versus Protoss is a very impressive 73% with 68 games won and 25 games lost.
That's so
Recent
sick.
wins, right? Recent wins over Night End, Genius, Huck, and of course one of those versus HerO in the Gosu Coaching Premier League as well. So his last 10 games also 50% across the board. And you know what? The countdown has begun, ladies and gentlemen. Let's blow this place up. This is season 2 of the NASL Grand Finals. Let's introduce our players on the east side of the map. Reigning from Team Liquid, our Red Protoss. He is the current champion between these two players. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Liquid HerO.
And in the left position, starting off the grand final on his best map, the reigning champion of the North American Star League. Can he do a repeat performance? It is EG's Puma.
And you know what? That storyline cannot be emphasized enough, Sean. It really cannot. The fact that Puma not only won NASL Season 1, but he came out of the open bracket to do so. And that's a substantial thing, because at the time, Puma was relatively unknown. He had, of course, his own legacy when it came to Brood War and starting in StarCraft 2, but he hadn't really made much of an impact in StarCraft 2 yet. Winning NASL was his giant impact onto the scene. He then, of course, joined Evil Geniuses and now is looking for a repeat here in Season 2 of the NASL.
And it looks like Puma is going to be opening up with that fast gassed style play. I mean, he generally does like to go for that sort of Banshee opening. I don't know if he's going to do a variation on the 1-1-1 or whether he's just going to go straight for the fast Banshee. But I do think that on this map, there's nothing exactly that wrong with going for some kind of 2 racks play. Anything like 2 racks Marine Marauder allows you to put a lot of pressure on. Can never underestimate how remarkably close these 2 positions are.
So we've got the orbital morphing in here, and really curious to see exactly what Puma's going to do. And I'm also curious, I need to check on it, but I wonder, and I do not recall who won that first game in this last best of 7 series that these two played against. And we talk a lot about that first game and how important it can be in a series. However, in a best of 7, there's certainly room for error. Now, I've heard a lot of people throughout the event leading up to the final say, I've got HerO 4-2. I've heard others say, I've got Puma going 4-3, the distance. But every single person has collectively said that this game will go this series will go at least 6 games.
At least 6 games,
yes.
Definitely. I mean, that is the most significant number to note. These players should not have any sort of 4-0 shutouts. And look at this Puma, great deception right there. Starting off, getting the fast reactor, and he's gonna reveal it. That means it's right at the front of the base. This Zealot will easily be able to waltz up, see exactly what's up. Now there's a command center going down for Puma, but if you look at what HerO can recognize from this, he's going to see a bunker and a reactor. That's almost always a sign of some sort of tech-focused play. Very clever, and somehow, Charlie in the trees, look at that. You can only rotate a little bit to find him.
Yeah, he's just waiting patiently. We've seen Puma do this before, looking for the Nexus. If we take a look at his vision, he can't quite see that it's been thrown down yet, but he can scoot on over there and get some ideas. And went to the interwebs and confirmed that in the DreamHack Winter competition in which HerO and Puma played in the finals, it was Puma who won the first game, HerO winning the next 3, Puma answering back with 2 more, and then HerO, of course, taking the deciding match.
I think that's really important to note that there was a very famous statistic that in best of 5s, in general, whoever wins that first game is overwhelmingly favored to win the series. There was a point in time where 85% of best of fives were won by the player who won game number 1. That shows an incredible amount of mental fortitude on HerO's part to be able to lose that first game and still pull it back with those 3 consecutive wins. And Puma looks like he is going for a big bio-heavy play, Marcus.
Yeah, so far that's exactly what we're seeing. We have racks 2 and 3 going down, about ready to finish up. A lot of Marines are at the front, and of course the command center is nearing completion on that orbital. He might be able to get out here. Puma sending these Marines out. Will he catch the stalker off guard? HerO is quick to react, and we'll go ahead and get him out of there, taking just a little bit of hull damage. Meanwhile, over on the other side, HerO's expansion was spotted. If we take a look just at the vision, you can see that he scooted right past there as it was being made, and knows it's coming. But we have a lot of Marines now making their way out, and we have this micro here from this one stalker who's not going to chase all the way, but shows one of his cards in his hands.
A little surprised to see HerO take quite so much damage on that first stalker. HerO's normally quite well known for being incredibly careful with those stalkers and still managing to get off a lot of good shots. Look at this, he is so bold. Just waltzing right on in. These are 2 little Jack Bauer stalkers going to try to take down the entire organization of EG Puma, and already starting to work away. And oh, Marcus, Puma's most popular early expand opening, the Ghost Academy Rush.
And you know what? Speaking of Jack Bauer, on the TV show he may be able to stop an EMP with his back, but I guarantee you that HerO could not do that. And there you go.
There you go. Very poor Jack Bauer impersonation, dying 8 minutes into game 1. We do see HerO now pulling all the way back to his natural. Now, HerO's in a bit of an awkward spot. He can't really afford to build that many units. He's instead tried to build as many gateways as he can. You need to get the perfect force fields off, but on dual site, it is hard. I think that's one of the reasons why Puma enjoys this map so much. It has big, wide open spaces. Force fields can't close it off the way they could on a terminus entrance. So that does mean that HerO's going to be under a lot of pressure, and I think a brilliant response to get that many gateways up. But oh, Marcus, the money scan spots it.
The money scan will spot it, and you know what? This timing that's coming out here from Puma, we've got actually coming forward. A couple Marines are going to lose their lives here as the Zealots in perfect positions here. One of them may go down. Actually, no units lost thus far yet for HerO. A couple of Marines do lose their lives there, but what's really scary is what's going to come in addition to this. We've got the first Ghost hitting the field right now, and Combat Shield and Stim is going to be done here momentarily, suddenly making this Bioforce just a very, very nasty thing to deal with.
And it looks like, oh, hello, SCV spots the pylon. And in Puma's position, you either got to start building a lot of bunkers right now or pray your opponent is not going to attack anytime soon. It looks like it might be a 2-pronged attack, or perhaps HerO's just going to swing in from the right flank. Regardless, there are 6 warp gates, very active right now. Robotics facility coming up. HerO could do a lot of damage with this move.
Yeah, he also knows that the Ghosts are there. He's going to put himself out there. Big EMP goes down. All the sentries lose all their energy, and the Bio must melt these Zealots before they can actually get to the heart of HerO's army. That bunker did not finish up, and a lot of damage being done here.
Absolutely decimating the first push of HerO. Virtually no damage done by the Team Liquid player. If we come to that units killed count, virtually no workers were actually lost there by Puma, but in that units lost, or in that resources lost tab, wow, 3,000 versus 2,000. Puma feeling very good. Has to be passive for a little bit, can't overstim without the medevacs.
And a Marine somehow made his way in. Not sure how he just sneaked in, but the Zealots did take care of him. Saw exactly what's going on inside the base. Now, did not see the robotics bay as far as I know. So yeah, he is still unaware that it's there. Upgrading extended thermal lance as well. And right now, HerO's army, it really just consists of a few Zealots, a couple sentries, and that single immortal. The EMP that was dropped by Puma was absolutely just perfect in that it got all of the energy and a lot of the shields from most of those units that came in from the east side.
Looks like that blue watchtower on the left and the red one on the right, both controlled by Puma. That sort of vision's going to definitely help him. With that mid-game judgment, knows that he has freedom to begin making drops. Liquid HerO, on the other hand, has hardly any knowledge, just this one sole observer, and a single scan is going to put HerO far into the dark in this match.
Now, also the Observer is playing a key role here for HerO.
Yeah.
It's really, I mean, he knows exactly what Puma's got. He was watching the front. He's now following this army, so he's got a really good idea. We have not seen, here we have some more ghosts finally coming out here, as it looked like Puma pretty much decided to continue his tech up and just getting more and more units. Those medevacs coming out as well. And we have a couple Marines just making their way across the map, as we commonly see from Puma. We've got a scouting factory, and now these units of Puma are moving back, of course, under the vision of this Observer, as we have another push coming out by Liquid HerO.
Oh, Puma's inching his way forward. Gotta be very careful as HerO. Another EMP would be ruinous. This expansion may fall, and that would be huge if HerO could take it out, but no, he's trying to push on the right side again. Wow, real extreme aggression here by HerO. He does not want this game to go on long again. 2 sentries getting nabbed by that EMP. Is there going to be a third EMP? The Colossus at the back are doing a lot of damage, and those Zealots are soaking up a lot of hits. HerO looks like he's starting to make some headway, but Puma answers in kind by ripping apart that Immortal. Almost all the gateway units have been knocked down. Puma continuing to advance. It's going to be a very close fight. Can he manage to pick up the Colossus? No. A near even exchange.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like Puma was really going to focus on those ground units and then hope that he had just enough to easily take out those Colossus. But right now, this little force that's so far up into Puma's territory is really naked. It's
Free Zealots.
yeah, and if he comes up here, he might be able to snipe both of these Colossus. He's going to move back a little bit. There's hardly any ground force to help protect those Colossus.
Right now we see a couple more Immortals popping out. Amazingly, HerO has managed to find enough money to build that third Nexus. The one big downside to that attack from HerO is that he didn't pick off this command center. If he had just forced a cancel, Puma would be stuck on 2 base, wouldn't really be able to do much at all. Instead, Puma is doing an amazing job macroing. Does have these 2 reactor barracks instead of 1 reactor barracks. That allows him to make an excess of ghosts as well. And ooh, one of those Wandering Marines spots the north base.
Oh yeah, he went in there. He also took out a probe. Now we did see a load up here of a couple of medevacs, and then I think realizing that the Observer was there, went ahead and dropped those off. So no, I'm not going to think about dropping. It was just all in your head. But HerO controlling the middle of the map, which is a bit surprising considering that after that second engagement, he was left with 2 Colossus and 2 Stalkers. There was not a whole lot, but he still somehow maintained really decent map control. But now we see from the tower on the west side, this force from Puma, is it going to move up and take the third? I think that even if he decides not to, HerO has to respond to this.
Wow, HerO having a great read, positioning a ton of Stalkers on the right. They do have Blink, so they will be able to zip underneath those 2 medevacs, take them out with relative ease. In the main, Puma still has only 5 barracks. It does have the 2 engineering bays, but is waiting patiently for that armory to wrap up, and it looks like Puma is going to decide that the left expansion is where he wants to go, and Puma, in serious macro mode, has left all the way up to 160 supply, whereas the HerO is down at 121.
I do not think that HerO can afford to have those 8 Stalkers inside his base. I really feel like he might need this. He's got a fair amount of Vikings right now. His bio force is looking very good, but Puma decides not to get aggressive here on this third base in the northwest. Meanwhile, we do have that drop over on the east side, and you know what? Those 8 Stalkers might come into play really nicely here. It's going to depend on how the reaction from HerO actually plays out. Here they go, flight path directly in, right on top of a couple pylons.
HerO.
Will we see a quick reaction? So far, the Stalkers have done nothing, and there it is.
Oh, and there's the blink, and he's warping in Zealots right in front, carefully trying to reposition. He can't afford to engage that directly, and it looks like, oh no! Oh my god, he takes out the Zealot leg speed when it's at about 85%, and also the engagement on the left side. The Templar do have a reasonable amount of energy. It looks like the Guardian Shield's going up in the main base. The Immortal tries to pull back. Oh my
gosh, he's done so much damage here in the main stride, and he still manages to get away. Oh, that poor Marauder.
Unreal.
Oh, but you know what? He still gets away with 3 Marauders. The amount of damage that he did in the main base was actually much higher than I think even HerO thought he could do. And now we're seeing the Colossus get sniped here, as there's virtually nothing to take care of these Vikings.
And they fall.
Oh.
A gigantic Marine Marauder army, Liquid HerO, engaging in the late game macro mode, but Puma is out-muscling HerO so well.
his decision making, Sean, has been remarkable. I mean, setting things up. In fact, we have the drop going back in here. It's not going to do a whole lot of damage, but looking to serve as a distraction here for this very, very menacing force. And another great EMP goes down. No more shields left for that Protoss.
Some tremendous EMPs. There are still energy left on the Templar to do some storms. He manages to nab and snipe. No more AoE and good GG. EG's Puma, as in the case of DreamHack, wins game number 1.
And really, really a solid build coming out for Puma right away. Heavy bio, going to those ghosts. The 2 ghosts in the early engagement played a huge part for him to hold that off. As you'd mentioned, took very, very little damage. He didn't and then reinforce his ghosts until much later when he knew he needed to. And then also when the 3rd base